And this guy left Washington State. And I just want to be clear. Washington State, contrary to everybody in the chat's belief, is not a better job than Wake Forest. It's not even close. And Washington State is the worst job on the West Coast. The absolute worst job on the West Coast. It is in Pullman, Washington. They have no airport. Do you know where you fly recruits into? Does anybody know in this chat? Moscow, Idaho is where you fly into to go to Washington State on a visit. You don't even fly into the state of Washington where your school resides. You fly into shithole Idaho. You drive 10 minutes across the border, and now you are in Idaho or in Washington, in Pullman, where it is maybe the worst shithole in Washington. So just so we're clear, this is not a better job than Wake Forest. They have no conference, Smitty. So this is, again, deteriorating from within the internal mechanisms that college football was supposed to be about. Get guys to an educational system, institution, teach them how to be men, blah, blah, blah. That's all gone, homie. I get it. It is what it is. That shit is dead and buried. But now it's the wild, wild west. And this guy we just talked about Monday, Smitty, as being kind of like optimistic, but understanding that his QB may enter the portal and leave while we were on the show, and his quarterback entered the portal, left, and now this coach has entered the portal and left. I have no take on it other than I just wanted to throw out all the facts in the case. This is the wild, wild west, Smitty. Like, now the quarterback leaves, now the coach leaves. It used to be the coach left, quarterback left. Now we're seeing it the other way. I don't know your take on him leaving. I just think, number one, they have no conference. The West Coast has crippled the conference. What coach do you want to – I wouldn't want to be on my own over here with Oregon State, and that's it.
Right.
Like, and then their facilities are very mid compared to the rest. It's just in a bad place. Pullman. It's just a bad situation. Wake Forest, not the greatest school in that area either. Very hard academic institution, private, hard to get in. At least it's in the Carolinas. You got a little bit. I don't know. It is what it is, man. It's the wild, wild west. I guess my question to you is, when does it stop? When does it stop? Because I think you just alluded to the same thing that I alluded to. You can't do this method forever. It'll end up imploding eventually because it'll run out of resources. There's just not enough Michael Vicks. There's not enough Deion Sanders. There's not enough.
Which is why I don't think it's really a problem, because it's not even a lot of those type of guys who are wanting to coach, right? At least currently. I mean, we got a handful that we hear about that's either doing it. Eddie George, Deion is doing it. Michael Vick now is doing it. You know, Ed Reed thought about it, but he kind of hopped back out because he didn't like what was going on. Like, it's a small amount that we can just kind of name on our hands. So, like, overall, like it's not like it's a pandemic of former star players or players who are skipping the line and becoming the head coaches of a lot of these programs. We have a very small sample size. So to me, it's not even a problem. It's not even like an issue. If we had a ton of them doing it, I would probably be a little bit more on your side. I'm like, all right, now it's getting a little too crazy, because now it's like every other team is just, this guy just is a former player. Let me. I'm like, all right, cool. Like,
yeah,
give Vic a chance. It's Norfolk State. Give him a chance.
Let me dive into recruiting so you guys understand.
And then after this, we gotta go to our next tie before Coach Mazzoni comes on, because I want to touch on that Ryan Clark, Pat McAfee before Mazzoni gets on here.
All right. I want to dive into this topic real quick, because a lot of you in the chat that think you know geographics and you're a fucking Northwest Pacific, Northwest airport specialist. And JB Spokane has an airport. Well, Spokane's like an hour and a half away from Pullman, last time I checked, being the recruiter that I am. And I want to break down simple math for everybody out there. Wazoo is a very, very bad place when it comes to resources. They are the New Mexico of the Northwest. They eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because they can't fundraise and raise enough money to fly, Smitty, to fly into Spokane. Because flying into Spokane, flying in 100 recruits a year to see the campus, driving an hour and a half from the airport to your campus is a bad optical look on a recruit. why you don't think I flew anyone into fucking Independence, Kansas. It's a bad look, and then you have to drive an hour and a half. Number one. Number two, the amount of a ticket to fly him into Spokane. Spokane is more of a pick and choose airport compared to an international one, so it's much more expensive to fly into Spokane. So what they do is they don't have the resources. They fly them into Idaho just as teams do. Unless there's some sort of weather, they fly into Idaho as a team. When USC, UCLA flies into Pullman, guess where they go? Idaho. And they drive over. It's cheaper to do it that way, especially, and it's closer. So you don't fly guys into fucking Spokane, dog. It's just too expensive for a school that has no resources. So when you recruit, you have to penny pinch and count every dollar. Unless it's a big-time 5-star, and that's the only kid I'm bringing in, then you could do it. But then you got to drive an hour and a half. Wazoo is not a hotbed for fucking attracting talent. It's just not. Wake Forest is a much better job than this one. And I believe Dickert is from St. Louis area or something. I could be wrong. I thought he was a Midwest guy. But I don't know, Smitty. But that's my take on this whole thing. What is your what's the next topic?
Well, first of all, I want to let you know I literally just got done finishing a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It was delicious. So I don't care how much money I got. That's going to always stay in the arsenal.